If I crown myself the rat leader, he crowned himself as the cap leader. He didn't rob no 50 at no gym. Yo, bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Which one's my camera? That one?
Yeah.
This one? That one? Yeah, Fat Joe, you're a like, you're I'm not even gonna lie, you're a captain of the cap. Like, nobody believe, even your co-host who's Jadakiss don't believe you. Every time you say a cap, that like, like, but like I said, you gonna go
flag, like flag on the play.
And my next song, I even say, I be spitting so much facts that I make jokes to distract. That's the next bar in my song. Don't like the truth, so y'all make jokes to distract me. We know this lying, right? All right, yo, listen to me. Listen.
But there's a lot of people that say he ain't lying.
He ain't lying? All right, which one's my camera? If Fat Joe is not lying, the next person on the Dance Project, bring Big Pun's son. Bring Big Pun's son on the Dance Project. Welcome back.
Chris Rivers.
Welcome back, y'all. Let's skip this clip. Watch when he see this clip, he gonna hit up, yo, Chris, don't do that. How much money you need? Out of here. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, you just said a lot. You just said a lot.
Bring Big Pun's son, even on the verses. Remember when he was facing Ja Rule?
Yeah.
And they said, don't play that shit. That's Big Pun. Don't do that. Don't do what, fat you talking about?
6ix9ine sat down for an interview with the Dancer Project, and things went left fast when the host brought up Fat Joe's old comments about him. 6ix9ine didn't hold back. He went straight for the jugular, calling Fat Joe out right there on camera. It wasn't just talk either. He came with facts, proof, and pure confidence. And guess what? We double-checked everything he said, and yeah, it's 100% real. No cap. But before we dive into the chaos, let's rewind and look at how this whole feud started. Fat Joe has been talking wild about 6ix9ine for years now, and it's been getting messier each time. We're talking interviews dating back 2 or 3 years, like the one on Mav Hoffa's show, where Fat Joe didn't just criticize, he flat out disrespected 6ix9ine, calling him out of his name on camera. And believe it or not, Joe didn't stop there. Just last month, he was still going off like the drama never ended. Now let's be real. Whenever the topic of rats and hip-hop comes up, 6ix9ine's name always slides into the conversation. Whether you believe Alpo was part of the culture or not, 6ix9ine became the most infamous snitch the rap game has ever seen. His name turned into the face of betrayal, stamped across an entire generation of rap history. During that same Mav Hoffa interview, Fat Joe went off again, calling 6ix9ine a B and a punk, claiming he warned him about that RICO case long before it all went down. But 6ix9ine didn't listen, and when the storm hit, everything came crashing down. Now here's the truth. When you hit your 40s, peace matters more than pride. You start realizing some fights just ain't worth it anymore. So even if Fat Joe was asked about it again, at some point you gotta chill, man, and stop calling people out their name during interviews. It's unnecessary drama that only keeps the beef alive. 6ix9ine made it clear he's not dissing Fat Joe just to spark new tension. He said straight up, he didn't snitch on me, and he didn't snitch on nobody I know. But then he dropped a twist. Joe had apparently been warning people about certain guys from early on, and still, they kept 6ix9ine around anyway. What a plot twist. Wild, right? But here's where things get spicy. Fat Joe has basically crowned himself the prime minister of hip-hop morality. That's his whole brand now, being anti-rat, anti-snitch, and anti-anyone breaking the street code. He's built a whole image around being the guy who stands on principles no matter what. That's the hill he's ready to die on. But remember, those comments came years ago. Since then, 6ix9ine has thrown a few shots back in interviews, but just last month, Fat Joe dug it all up again like the drama never ended. He told Jadakiss that one night he stayed up late thinking about who really started what he called the snitching epidemic in hip-hop. And who did he blame? You already know, 6ix9ine. But wait a second, what's that got to do with music? Let's be real, 6ix9ine hasn't been charting like he used to. His recent songs aren't connecting, and even the snippets barely make noise online anymore. Yeah, He had that wild run where every drop broke the internet, but that era came and went fast. Still, Joe keeps bringing him up like he's hip-hop's ultimate villain. But here's the truth. This whole snitch talk has nothing to do with the charts. If 90% of hip-hop fans ain't even from the streets, then why keep applying street codes to people who never lived that life? Most of these fans are just vibing to beats, not dodging cases. Even a lot of black fans didn't grow up in the hood. That's just reality. So why should music fans be expected to honor street rules when they're not part of that world? It's entertainment, not a courtroom. Go to any rap concert today and look around. You'll see it with your own eyes. At least 70% of the crowd isn't black. And depending on the artist, that number jumps to 80 or even 90%. Go to a Drake concert, for example. Most of the fans there aren't from the hood and they're not living by those codes. They're just fans of the music, not the lifestyle.
What's the event in hip hop that broke the camel's back? Pause. To make it to where you could snitch. And if you make good music or something, you could still live out here in hip hop. Like what was the straw that broke the camel's back in hip hop where we had a code and there is no code no more. There just isn't no code no more. And what do you think is the event that, I remember growing up, even if you was fronting, you wasn't a real gangster, but you was spitting gangster rap shit. You wasn't with the rats like that. Right now, this
too many of them
sold out concerts.
I don't think you can escape them. They all around. They're like New York City rats. Humans. It's rats everywhere. And everywhere is everything.
Too many Fredos, not enough Michaels.
That's a fact.
Some of these guys got to take a boat ride, never come back. Sammy the Bull is the most famous rat on the earth. Sammy the Bull. Then you came Alpo. Guy everybody looked up to, charismatic, Harlem Fly, Louis Vuitton, this, that, Told. He did that, right?
Shout out to Wayne Perry and Wayne Perry Jr.
Then, in hip-hop, the day 6ix9ine sat on that stand.
Yo.
No! Man. You remember, if you're watching the story, they taking him to court in bulletproof vests. They acting like he was telling on El Chapo. He put a lot of good people in jail, man.
No, we got to put him away till his time.
Yo,
my feeling is going to get close.
You feeling
I feel his time has come. I feel his time is going to be soon, though.
We're going to need a lot.
Yeah.
Does it not matter no more? And I believe 6ix9ine, when he told, he gave guys 20 years in jail. All the guys, he was like, but he fucked my wife. But he did. That means nothing. There's a man that works in a bodega that never been a criminal in his life, see some shit and he won't tell.
So why are rappers still being judged like they're on trial for breaking laws of the streets that most of their audience doesn't even follow? It makes no sense at all. But that's still Fat Joe's main issue with 6ix9ine. He blames him for breaking the code, for corrupting the morals of hip-hop. So when 6ix9ine finally clapped back, he did it in the smartest way possible. Most people who get labeled a rat try to deny it, but 6ix9ine stood tall and flipped the script. Instead of hiding, he called out the hypocrisy. Fat Joe talks heavy about loyalty, integrity, and being a real one, but 6ix9ine tore that whole image to pieces. He basically said, how can you preach honor when you don't even live by the same code you talk about? And then, boom, he dropped the bomb. He brought up Big Pun's son. See, by street rules, when your homie passes away, you look after his family. That's law. You make sure they're good, especially if there was business or money involved. That's supposed to be the ultimate sign of loyalty. But according to 6ix9ine, Fat Joe didn't live up to that code when it came to Big Pun's family. And that's why he mentioned Pun's son, because that story exposed the gap between Joe's words and his actions. When 6ix9ine brought up Big Pun's son, the internet exploded. He claimed Fat Joe, who was once tight with Big Pun, didn't really look out for his family the way a real one should. That hit deep, because Big Pun isn't just some random name. He's a legend, and bringing his family into the mix made the whole thing way more personal. Big Pun is a legend in hip-hop. No debate about it. And the idea that someone who was once so close to him could have turned their back on his family, that's not just messy, that's a serious accusation. The moment 6ix9ine brought that up, you could feel the tension shift in the room. In the clip, 6ix9ine dropped a line that made everyone freeze. He said, "You talking about morals, but you ain't even take care of your brother's people." That line hit like thunder. Because for all the preaching about loyalty, respect, and honor, 6ix9ine just flipped the mirror back on Fat Joe and showed a moral contradiction. Fat Joe's been waving the real one flag for years, but if what 6ix9ine said holds weight, that flag might be torn. Now, to keep it fair, Fat Joe has always defended himself against those claims. He's said publicly that he's shown nothing but love and respect to Big Pun's family, that he's honored Pun's legacy whenever he could. But the internet doesn't care about explanations anymore. They care about drama. And once 6ix9ine threw that verbal bomb, fans went full detective mode. They started digging up old interviews, old contracts, even screenshots from way back, trying to find out if 6ix9ine was telling the truth. And here's where things really got messy. 6ix9ine didn't just defend himself. He flipped the whole rat narrative upside down. Instead of hiding from the label, he used it as ammo. He said, "Y'all want to talk about being real? Then let's see who's really living by those codes." That move made people pause. It made them think. If loyalty is the ultimate code, then who's actually walking it out? This wasn't just a diss. It was a strategic hit to Fat Joe's credibility. 6ix9ine took Joe's own message about morals and manhood and turned it right back at him. After that bomb about Big Pun's son, the debate online exploded. Fans were split right down the middle. Some said 6ix9ine finally exposed the truth, while others claimed he was just chasing clout by dragging Joe's name. But no matter what side people were on, one thing was clear. The damage was done. Fat Joe's image, the one he spent decades building as a respected OG, started cracking in real time. But 6ix9ine wasn't finished.
Fat Joe said that.
Fat Joe's a
Lean back.
We've been leaning back for 20 years, man. Like,
He said you crowned yourself the rat leader and you wrote the 48 laws.
He kept pushing the issue. He even pulled up interviews where Big Pun's widow and son said they never got what they were promised after Pun's passing, and that stirred up a digital storm. People started pulling receipts, rewatching old videos, comparing every word from both sides. It got wild, fast. Meanwhile, Fat Joe tried to keep it respectful, saying he's always shown love to Pun's name and legacy. But 6ix9ine fired back again, saying, "Respect ain't just words, it's action." And that's the line that made the internet lean in closer. Because when you call yourself a man of principle, people expect you to live it. Then came the knockout blow. 6ix9ine said Fat Joe was trying to play judge of the streets when his own record wasn't spotless. That line landed like a grenade. Suddenly, this wasn't even about Big Pun anymore. It was about who really has the right to decide who's real and who's fake in this new era of hip-hop. And the craziest part, no matter how anyone feels about 6ix9ine, whether they love him or hate him, his response hit a nerve across the culture. For the first time, the so-called rat made the real ones look like the hypocrites, and that's something the streets weren't ready to face. For years now, people have been whispering about whether Fat Joe really kept money that was supposed to go to Big Pun's family. But this time, thanks to 6ix9ine, that old rumor roared back to life louder than ever. The claim is wild. Big Pun's wife and kids say they never got the royalties they rightfully earned from his legendary catalog. Imagine that. Fat Joe once said he gave the family $1 million, but Pun's wife clapped back quick, saying she never saw a dime. Things got so heated, she even filed a lawsuit against him, and from what's been reported, that case either ended in her favor or is still being fought out in court. Either way, the accusations are serious and they cut deep. According to Pun's family, Big Pun's music kept pulling in money over the years, but none of it ever reached them. Fat Joe allegedly told them, "Ain't no money coming in, man. It's all going to prior obligations." But when the family looked closer, they found something totally different. There was money coming in, and somebody was collecting it quietly behind the scenes. That revelation shook fans to their core because, if true, it raises one ugly, uncomfortable question. How can someone preach loyalty, morals, and street honor while allegedly leaving the family of a fallen friend out in the cold? That's not just a bad look, it's heartbreaking. And honestly, from a moral standpoint, if that really went down, it might be worse than anything 6ix9ine ever did. Because let's be real, snitching in a courtroom is one thing, but allegedly taking from a man's widow and kids, that's a whole different level of betrayal. It's the kind of accusation that stains your legacy no matter how many hits you've got. So what do you think? Did 6ix9ine actually have a point about Fat Joe's integrity being questionable? Or is this just internet talk getting blown out of proportion? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, share this video with your crew, and don't forget to subscribe. We bring you the realest hip-hop stories every single week. See you on the next one.